baseball.
Mm-hmm.
The Tigers just clinched their playoff spot.
Hell yeah. Never look back, Andrew.
Go Tigers, never look back. I'm up to like $500.
Yeah, I put a lot of money in the like you get coins when they win thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have like $500 also. I'm doing good. I don't know what I'm going to do with this money, but
I really hope that the upping your amounts like does something next season.
I imagine
they don't reset the
Yeah,
on you?
I don't think they do, but also I don't know. So I mean, there are things here that are very expensive, so there must be like people with lots of money.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a pretty silly thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you found out about it.
Internet.
Was it what's his name?
Hmm?
Austin Walker? Is that how you found out about it?
Oh no, it was just all over the internet. Like all the video game people I saw on the internet were talking about it at some point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
The Giant Bomb people talked about it on their podcast this week. Other people I saw were talking about it all on Twitter last week.
Okay.
So,
should I pull up Memory Alpha?
I mean, do you need it for something?
I don't know. I feel like I'm always underprepared for when we're does this thing exist?
There's nothing. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to
it. You know the exact thing that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do it. Do you know what number this is?
Nope.
Well, let's do it live. Subspace Transmissions. Hi.
Hey.
How's it going, JJ?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, man?
I'm good. You know?
That's good, yeah.
Hey, I want to start out.
22, maybe?
I think you're right. Well, it's the Discovery ones. But
yeah.
I want to start out by saying I watched that Lower Decks.
Okay, so I haven't. I'm gonna, though.
I was not gonna watch it before this podcast. I was just gonna sort of like build them up and do like 5 at a time because they're only a half hour long. And and then Robert Kirkman posted about it and said like, this is the most fun I've had this year so far, and just like turning my brain off and enjoying something.
And we value Robert Kirkman's opinion.
I mean, you don't value Robert Kirkman's opinion?
I mean, he is a creator of many beloved works.
Yeah.
But like, does he have good opinion on like media? Because like creators aren't always people that are like that I want to have their taste in things. Okay. Not all the time, right?
Well, I think you're right to say that a little bit because, you know, he does write some stuff that I don't enjoy. So, you know, maybe if, you know, somebody like if you just don't enjoy anything that he does, you might not have the same opinion as him.
I mean, you know, disregarding Robert Kirkman, I'm going to try this Lower Decks thing. We're going to see.
Well,
so
his post inspired me to try it last night instead of just holding off for a little bit. I do have to say I didn't like laugh out loud at any of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just smiled and watched it. I think it has potential to be good.
You didn't groan.
I did not groan at any point in time.
Okay, that's good.
The stand-in for Riker is maybe the best part of the show so far.
Okay, nice. Yes. I like it.
Yeah.
I will say, you know, if it didn't make you groan, that's probably good because I groaned at least once, probably more than once per episode in this block of Discoveries. So
I did, but also towards the end of this block of Discoveries, I was kind of like, all right, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're getting around to the thing they wanted to do at the beginning of the season. And in the middle, they just wasted our time.
Yeah.
This could have been like a 6-episode season, I wonder.
If they're going to do this narrative season to season connected structure, boy, there's really an opportunity to do it quicker than this.
And, hey, even if you don't want to, right? You can have episodes that are like only lightly related to the thing. Like they did this with some of the episodes this season, right? Like that time where they went to the planet and it was all people from Earth, but they were out wherever.
Yeah.
That episode was like kind of only barely related to the plot.
But it had a good side Star Trek moral. It was maybe the best episode of Pike so far.
Yeah. And, we got a little character stuff in it. And then, they kind of did like a whole like, yeah, ooh. And the B plot, really, the main plot was the B plot in that episode.
Yeah.
And that was good.
Yes.
You could do that.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what Voyager did. The main plot was always the B plot.
Right.
Right? Like, we're still trying to get to Earth. Did we have our meeting this episode about getting to Earth? Yes. 3 minutes were spent this episode because we don't really have a big thing, but we need to say that B'Elanna changed the manifolds so that next episode some aliens detect the new manifolds so that the episodes after,
yeah,
that is a thing and it works well. And it definitely worked well in the one that you're talking about.
And, you can also, this is maybe a bad thing, but you can also just not have things connected to the main story. I know they apparently don't like that here. But some of the best episodes of TNG and DS9 are ones that really have nothing to do with the Bajoran conflict or with Picard and his struggles as, the captain. TNG is a series of non sequiturs. Like, really, there's almost no through line in that show.
Very little, other than the character development, right?
Right. And DS9 gets a through line as it goes farther on, when the Dominion War starts and all this other stuff.
But let's say
some of the best episodes are ones that are just whatever.
Absolutely. But one of the strengths of DS9 maybe is that they weren't so ambitious that they looked at some of their characters and they were like, Sisko's wife.
Right, exactly.
We could turn that connected into the main plot of actually she was, yes, she died at Wolf 359, but like really the Dominion were it's like twisting a character's background story beyond recognition. Mm-hmm. Here, maybe not. I don't know. We'll debate. We should debate what we think about that when we get to it. But
sure.
So for you following along,
because I literally wrote when we get to the thing we're talking about. All right, well, spoilers here. These are Discovery episodes 9 through 11.
Yep. So if you're following along and you want to listen, and after you've seen them, that's the 3 episodes for this time.
We are going to talk about stuff from all of these episodes.
Second to last set of episodes, because then it's 12 through 14 after this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Because I literally wrote somewhere in this they just retconned Michael's backstory.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
They kind of did a little bit. I don't know. We'll get there.
Yeah, we will. Sorry.
So they're running from Starfleet, but because they have Spock on board and they sprung him from Section 31. That's where we open. Admiral Cornwell joins right? Admiral Cornwell?
Yes.
I think it's Cornwell. Joins the ship.
I think you're right.
Because things are happening.
Immediately, she's already acting shady.
Yeah, a little bit, huh? A little bit shady. It's weird that she was shady for maybe 5 minutes, and then they were like, we should probably just explain what's happening here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, so first thing first here. Can we please stop the spinning camera?
Oh my God. I hated this so much. They did it for 1.5 scenes, I think. Whoever was directing this episode, or
it comes back though.
It
This
just
episode,
decided like, this is cool. I'm doing this. This is cool.
some of
What's that word? There's in filmmaking, there's a thing about a line. You're not supposed to cross a line or something. It disorients people.
oh,
This guy's like, I don't believe in lines.
I think
I like circles.
Episode 9, I think, is a Riker episode.
Yeah,
Frakes directed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently Frakes doesn't believe in this line.
You know,
He just believes in circles and is all about walking around characters, literally like a dude holding a camera, walking in a circle around a thing.
I was more taken aback by the spinning camera. It's upside down and we're spinning and now we're right side up. And it's like, oh god, I know we're in space, but we don't.
At least the parts where we were in space, I could understand it as being, oh, we're in space.
Yeah.
The parts where it's like in a briefing room,
Yeah.
it was like too much. Stop.
Yeah. Now we're with Stamets. Spin the camera. Oh, okay. I don't think
Stop, man.
I don't think it's as bad as in like episode 10 here, which is not Frakes. It's like lens flare central in their little powwow in the conference room.
But they love that conference room, putting all the flares.
Every time they're in that conference room, it's like, let's just shoot into the sun.
Gigantic blowout sun. Yeah. You don't have to park right next to the star out of that window in particular.
You could even park next to the star. Yeah, just rotate the ship 5 degrees.
Or like, maybe go orbit the other way, and so
put the other ready room on that side.
Right, yeah, the one on the other side of the bridge.
All right.
That we never see.
All right. I think we've gotten all that out of the way. Now we can get to the plot.
So were you excited to learn that the Admiral of Section 31 was a logic extremist, Andrew?
So is that what they were saying? It was that they thought she was a logic extremist, or did they just think that
Cornwell said that the Admiral of Section 31 was a logic extremist.
So she thinks she's a logic extremist because
she said that she was. She didn't say she thinks. She says Admiral so-and-so is a logic extremist. She said that. Okay.
I thought that was because we find out a lot of
later
things very quickly here.
Yes.
That
too quickly, I might argue.
That there's something called control, which we've heard before, but didn't know what it was. We thought control was just some sort of ship or like command center, but it turns out control is like a computer processing unit, maybe the best one in Starfleet. One would guess maybe the predecessor to like the Enterprise D computer or something like that.
It's an AI.
It's almost an AI, right? They don't want it to be an AI.
Well, so like, they don't want it to become
sentient,
which and it already kind of is. Yeah, so but it's not like fully evil evolved yet.
Every admiral puts their decisions into the computer, apparently, at this point in time.
This is why I thought, like, when I called it an AI, I meant it's like AIs like we have here in our life.
Okay, yes.
Where like you give them things and they sort of like tweak and look at everything and go like, I don't know, maybe this. And you go, no, this is stupid. And then you don't do it.
Right.
Or whatever.
So like, it would be a modern AI, but AI in Star Trek would have a different.
Sure. It would be very different. Not a Star Trek AI, like a modern real world AI.
Okay. Yes.
But like,
I would agree with that.
It's like a decision engine for them, right? Like they present all these options. It goes, I don't know, what about these? The admirals look at them and they pick one. Or in a lot of cases, they go, no, these are all dumb. We're doing what I said.
Right. So that's like revelation number 1. Revelation number 2 is that Cornwell has been locked out of the system by something.
A Vulcan admiral in Starfleet who is the head of Section 31, apparently. And a logic extremist.
Who
apparently.
See, so this is the thing. Because she's been locked out by who she thinks is that person, she assumes she's a logic extremist?
I don't know, because the way they brought it all up, like back to back to back, she just made it sound like, oh, by the way, she's a logic extremist. And I didn't know if that was like, oh, she's a terrorist taking over Section
Yes, it
31,
certainly seems like that until you get to Control.
or if she actually just was a logic extremist as the Admiral.
And this is why Control has gone rogue.
That's just who she was. And Starfleet was okay with that before. I don't know.
Interesting theory that Star Trek could, or Starfleet could be okay with, like, yeah, whatever. Like, we know she's an extremist, but like she's effective as a Section 31 leader.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
it's all brought up so quickly you can't really figure it out. So anyway, Arium.
mm-hmm. Arium.
I think it's Arium. Is the cyborg woman we've seen on the bridge a bunch of times that was infected by the probe AI with a virus of some sort, we assume. Is seen in her quarters going through her memories, which is kind of cool. I thought.
We hadn't really gotten much characterization on this character before, so it's too bad what they did in this this episode, but it was a good. These are the kinds of episodes we should get every so often about like side characters,
really,
like the random bridge people.
It would really help me care about the people on the bridge a lot more.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate the way they did this, because this character is like slightly evil now. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get through it. But
pretty clearly not evil by choice.
No, certainly not. No. But like, is an antagonist in some way.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Pretty cool that they give her enough of a backstory that already, like what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let's play chess, Andrew.
Yeah, she's like, oh wait, is that? No, we don't play chess yet.
Oh, sorry. You just meant the part where Arium was in her quarters going through her memories herself.
So she's trying to decode, and this is kind of important later, I guess. She's been ordered to decode
transmissions.
The Section 31 transmissions to Control from what's his face?
Tyler
or Ash, yeah. But she also is like she's not doing that. She's decoding them for herself and downloading them, right?
I think so I didn't know if I can't tell if she was downloading it or she was downloading like parts of the sphere data or something.
Yeah, so I think that the transmissions were sphere data.
I see.
And then
it was transmissions to Control from Discovery at some point.
Data. Yeah.
But it turned out that it wasn't and so everyone just assumed that Ash had sent them, and that's why he was in his.
And they assumed Ash had sabotaged the spore drive, which she also did.
Right, correct. She definitely did that.
And for some reason, what's her face? I can't remember her name. The security chief.
Yes.
Is already onto her somehow.
Yeah.
She's like following her around. Okay.
She sees her doing weird stuff, and then is like, time to be suspicious.
Spock and Burnham are not getting along. So let's play chess.
Yeah, so let's play chess. I don't know, man.
Spock also doesn't know, so he throws the game.
He literally flips the table over.
Yep. He says, I like being angry and failing.
They get very emotional.
And then he like rips on her really badly. Like,
yeah, they're pretty mean to each other here.
I assume that he is finally getting back at her for whatever she did to him when she was a kid. It's brutal, actually. Like,
yeah, it's pretty mean, and he's like, oh, like
it's all your fault kind of thing. Yeah. Like everything in this world is your fault. The war was your fault. Your parents being dead's your fault. Everything's your fault.
Yeah, maybe you'll stop, Yeah, it's bad.
Well, it's an interesting...
brutal.
I think that it's in character, right? Like, he has to have these moments to be the Spock that he is later, I think.
Over the course of these episodes, I think, and maybe like last episode also, Spock has a good arc here from being, kind of the guy he was when we first find him to sort of how he ends up at the end of these episodes. I like it.
Okay.
But yeah, this scene in particular is pretty brutal to watch just because of how like, ooh man, like oh man, that's really mean.
Yeah.
Like, and it clearly upsets Burnham quite a bit.
But we don't have to dwell on it because we've got minds.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, guys.
So they show up at this control fob.
And so they said, I thought this is Section 31 HQ here.
It is, but they called it a forward operating base for some reason.
Okay, that's not what an HQ is.
I understand.
All right, cool.
They've called it both things in this episode.
Cool.
I checked.
Cool,
Anyway,
cool.
there's mines. There's spinning mines and exploding mines and all sorts of fun mines. But Pike is like pissed off that there are mines because they're illegal. Cornwell's answer is, we didn't make them.
Thanks, letter of the law.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what he says. He's like, so this is a cool, I thought maybe the best moment of this entire episode, maybe. Because then we get into like other problems.
Yeah, there aren't better ones following, so you're probably right.
So the best moment of this episode is like, this is why you sent the Enterprise away from the war, because I wouldn't have let you do this. I would have been such a pain in your side for you guys breaking all these rules. And she's like, nah, actually, we thought we were going to lose the war, and we sent away the people we thought would be the most. We sent away the best of us so that if we had to rebuild Starfleet, you would still be alive.
Yeah, and she's like, you're welcome, Pike.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
oh,
dang,
man.
okay, lady. Dang, like, sorry.
Jeez. Oh, jeez. You got me in my folksies.
I know, right?
Yeah. Which was I like it. It's a good like.
It is they needed to explain why they did that, and they never had. And this is their like line where we're gonna explain it.
Right.
I don't know that I buy it, but I also think it is like it's good for. They had to do something here, and that was something.
Okay. All right. What happens?
We have bad plans to go through the minefield in a special magic pattern that somehow the mines won't get us. And then, of course, they get us anyway, Andrew.
This is so stupid.
And instead of just using our like phasers patterns and stuff, instead of using our phasers and stuff to shoot the mines and blow them up or whatever, we're just going to fly through them. Also, we have to use random patterns because what if this is a game? What if it's a game, Andrew? What if it was a game? And then everyone's like, oh, yeah, you're totally right. It must be. We're not going to analyze this any further. We're just going to go forward with it. It's a game now.
So, when you think,
you're like, what?
It's even sillier when you think about the goal of, like, Arium needs to live. So, like, why are the mines blowing up the ship?
Yeah, man. Pretty good question.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe
man. Maybe it wanted to disable the ship permanently so that after so that they could come in and job and all that. So
they could come in and like maybe the AI doesn't care if it kills Arium as long as it can grab her corpse with the data or something. You know,
I don't know.
Who knows? It's dumb. And then at some point the mines just stop.
Oh, they disable the impulse engines. Yes,
okay,
it was said very quickly.
I see.
But of course, they're disabled just inside transporter range, and the shields are down.
Convenient. The mines are attracted to the shields. You know, they say that.
Knows everything because it's already apparently sentient, even though it needs to become sentient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they go to the ship. The ship is full of blood.
It looks bad in here.
It's frozen. The power's off.
Also, like, power's off. There's barely air. Like, it's bad.
You think that they've been attacked by people, but no. It turns out they were killed by the computer.
The evil AI was evil.
The evil AI used holograms to pretend to be the admiral that talks to them on the screen, and also, it turns out later, Spock, they figure out, is also a hologram because Saru didn't detect an infrared signature?
So, like, Saru's thing here is like, look, if you look at this video in infrared, there are like people's temperatures change or whatever when they're in stressful situations or whatever. He's like, this is extremely obvious to me, a person who can see infrared, but unlike you humans, apparently, I have to show you this with a color overlay.
Interesting that the Discovery transmissions all have infrared bands.
Yeah, right? Like, why would you even do that? That's not something that happens when you transmit video.
Yeah.
But apparently, in the future, infrared is part of the video.
And apparently in the future, when you're trying to verify a video, no one thinks we should check the infrared.
No one does that.
Since
apparently.
we record this infrared for some reason, we should check it.
This is the part where having a science advisor on your TV show writing room could help you a little bit and tell you this doesn't make any sense.
Well, you could record
why
infrared.
don't
I mean, you could.
You could. You certainly could. But you could tell them, hey, why don't you just have Saru run some analysis on this video rather than saying, here's the infrared on this video, which makes no sense. And so then you get, Saru shows them like, look, Spock is still blue this whole time in this video. He's not having changes in body temperature. My point is that at the end of all this, like they show, a color overlay infrared on Spock, and Spock doesn't have any temperature fluctuations while he's going through murdering all those Starfleet people. And Saru's like, therefore, this is fake. And everyone's like, yes, absolutely, you're right. Look, I'll show the video of the Admiral. Aha, see? No color changes as she's being yelled at.
Right.
Therefore, she must be fake also. This proves she's a hologram.
Not a Vulcan.
It's like,
not a Vulcan. Wouldn't be stressed. Just a hologram.
Yeah, that's a bit of a jump, man. Especially for Vulcans who don't get stressed because they don't feel emotions.
Especially for a logic extremist.
Right? And so like for Spock, I get it. He's half human. He should have those reactions. The Vulcan Admiral, I don't know that they would, especially if she was really a logic extremist. She wouldn't have any kind of emotional reaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
We got to move on.
This whole scene struck me as dumb. Yeah, let's move on to other bad parts of the episode,
Let's
please.
move on to, apparently, they didn't learn anything about Skynet.
No, they didn't. No one here has seen Terminator or Terminator 2.
Or
we
3,
just decide, or any of them, or any of them, or whatever.
Yeah,
stop.
They made a Skynet. That's literally once we get onto the station, we figure out that they made a Skynet, which is what Control is, and it's all bad. Arium turns on them, obviously.
And they got to fight the system to try and lock Arium out, but then Arium is trying to upload the data, and all this is bad.
Tilly has a really somewhat good idea, I guess, about trying to jar her by sending her memories over.
Mm-hmm.
Which works a little bit, I guess, to get her brain working, although the virus still controls her motor functions.
Right.
And she says, you got to airlock me before I download this stuff to the computer.
Yes. And Burnham doesn't want to do it because Burnham doesn't ever want to do it. This show loves to put Burnham in a bad situation and then be like, now you have to kill your friend. They've done it several times before this. Ed Burnham has thought of ways out of it. And this time, there is no way out of it. You must airlock your friend.
Interesting that this is the moment where Burnham, she has to do it. And unlike all the other times where she's been she started the Klingon War, remember, by being super logical.
Mm-hmm,
and it is now, and this could be part of the character arc, right? But this is literally the time when she has to do it, and the security chief has to do it because she's not going to do it.
Yeah, because Burnham won't.
Everyone's shouting at her to do it.
Pike says, I order you to pull the lever or whatever, right? And she won't. And so the security chief, in a heroic effort, pulls the lever instead.
Despite suffocating.
I'm glad she was okay. She didn't deserve to get murdered by the AI like that. So,
yeah, I mean, I would like to know her character a little better.
Maybe one day we'll get an episode where we learn anything about her character other than she breathes weird air. That's all we know.
She's the security chief from the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm. That's all we know.
Yep. Before she goes,
I want to talk about before we. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So like before Ariam goes, she tells her to look up Project Daedalus,
Right. Yeah.
and that everything is because of Burnham. And then they have a really good ending to this episode. I mean, they give Ariam a really good send off, which is the shutdown of Ariam is the end of the episode, which is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to say I liked the end bit there. I thought that was really good.
I thought that was very good. I think that despite what we're saying about like, and I think it, in spite of what we're saying about Burnham and like, is it a character development that she can't do it? Is it, like, why can't she do it? Is like a different question than is all the end of this good? And I think all the end of this is good.
My only problem with the end part of this episode is the fight scene is so bad. Why do we just have to have a fight scene? Why couldn't they just go on a thing and like have Ariam attack them and then they lock her in the airlock? Like, you didn't need to have like a 10-minute scene of them try to kick each other and throw each other into walls and stuff. It's unbelievably terrible. Like, Star Trek is bad at fights, like physical confrontations.
Well,
don't do it.
There's always a power mismatch in Star Trek fights, right? Always.
Yeah, it's one person
Ariam is way stronger than Burnham.
Yeah, she's way stronger than both these people. Like, why is there even a contest here?
And so you always have to have a reason that the other person doesn't kill the weaker one. And it's like,
and so
it's never good.
And these fights happen all the time in Star Trek. Go back to the original series, Kirk versus the Gorn, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a power imbalance there. Kirk's throwing his two-handed, haymakers, and so he does nothing. The Gorn does not care.
Right.
But that's not what the episode is about. The fight is like the problem in that episode, right?
Yeah.
And so the episode gets better as they stop fighting. And it's like the lesson is right there.
Yeah.
And it's like a super famous episode. And like all the other episodes of Star Trek where they try to have like hand-to-hand fighting and stuff just don't turn out good. The show isn't built for that.
Some of the DS9 ones about the Klingons, because they're martial culture and they're, like that's a sparring thing. Some of those are okay, but yeah.
And a lot of it though is like like they're having like a Batleth, training thing, or they're doing a battle between these two people, or tournaments and stuff like that, as opposed to like straight up like, let's fight because we're here to kill each other.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah. The rest of the fighting in Star Trek typically happens with, people at war with guns and shooting each other and stuff.
Yeah.
Which works a bit better, I would say. Anyway, that's my complaint about the end of this episode. I really hated that stupid fight scene. I wish the entire episode would have been improved had they not had that. But and like you said, the end of the episode is good. And it leads perfectly right into the next episode, I think.
I think it does. I had to make a note at the end of all this, which was, wow, this is the heaviest episode of Star Trek TV I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, they really wanted you to feel for Ariam throughout all this, especially, as they...
Oh, no, for episode 10. I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. Yeah, episode 10 starts... episode 10 is like a...
Episode 10 starts...
15-minute like send off to our beloved friend who we really only learned her backstory last episode.
But they start with that funeral and they give you a interesting like, this is what it means to be in Starfleet. And Saru sings a song and I was kind of like, oh boy, here we go. Mm-hmm. And then they just shift instantly.
Like, all right, well that's done. Thank goodness we jettisoned that problem.
It was like, no, the funeral was like the end of the show. It was like, okay, and now season 2A, because all that precursor stuff is done. We've set it all up. Here's the plot twist. You don't get to find it out later.
Mm-hmm.
Burnham, you're the Red Angel.
Yeah, it was her all along.
Wait, what? It's like one of those like, oh, this was in Ariam's memory. Your signature is the Red Angel's signature biometrics or whatever.
Magic's biometrics. it was you, Michael. You did all this. Will you tell us why?
I want to point out.
And she's like, well, what?
I want to point out something very clear here. Hugh deliberately says, if there was any doubt, because computers can't fake this stuff, I would have
know.
caught that you are not the Red Angel. If there's any difference in your pattern signature at all,
I would have known.
I would know. There's no chance you're not the Red Angel. Just remember that for later.
I mean, you don't even remember very long.
No, you don't have to remember it very long. Anyway, I want to know what happened, like, in the writer's room. I would love to have an interview with somebody from the writer's room for episode 10, where it's just like, and then we decided to just go for it.
We just decided to do the plot.
Flip the switch and go.
Here's the stuff we started talking about at the beginning of the season. Let's just have the whole dump here.
I like Spock's reaction to this, which is everyone's like, I don't know if I believe this. And Spock's like, nah, it makes sense. Look at her.
He's like this fits her emotional profile of needing to fix everything that isn't her fault all the time. I'm a jerk.
Good, though.
And Burnham's like, thanks for sharing, Spock, you dick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good, though.
It was good.
And then Section 31 just shows up.
And they're like, by the way, we're here still.
We're here and we got good ideas. And
we have Daedalus. It's definitely ours. You didn't make it up. This could be real.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what?
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that they show up and they're like, we've got ideas. And Cornwell's like, I'm cringing. Like, okay. Okay, good. Because in the next scene, you find out, like, the plot dump here is just crazy. There's no
time crystal, Andrew.
There's no pretext of any mystery anymore. It's just like, well,
time crystal.
They found out something, so we just have to tell them all that we developed this. I had them develop the spacesuit time crystal. Lens
crystal.
flare meeting time. I don't
time crystal.
Yeah. Okay, time crystal.
I feel like I'm incensed by the idea of time crystal. Why did they do this?
I'm in a car and we're driving down the road and, like, we hit a pothole and then we hit a second pothole, and instead of, like, slowing down and looking at the road to see if there are more potholes, we just freaking e-brake power slid around a corner to try a different road.
While at full speed.
Yes, absolutely. While still on the gas.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious style.
We got to smoke those tires.
We got to smoke. Cool. We're on a different road now. It's like, wait, but we could have just stopped to check if those were the only two bumps that we had. No, time crystal.
I made a comment throughout this episode, which finally gets resolved in the next one. But here is like, does Hugh just not wear uniform anymore? He's just in a black suit this whole episode. I was so confused.
Yeah.
He's like, is he not on duty?
They're unclear.
Because he does doctor stuff here. And I was like, is he just not wearing his uniform? Because it's like, it's cooler for him to be in a suit? What? Why?
Something about TNG. You got who was in charge of what and who was in charge of who very easily and instantly, right? Like,
the colors on the uniforms helped a lot.
It helps a lot. But also, like, when did Burnham get re-promoted to commander?
I don't know, man.
Why does Hugh?
So, they all say that, like, Hugh is a new person and he has started over and he's not even the same guy that he was and he's dealing with all these issues with it and stuff. So then, like, do they just immediately reinstate him to his old position and everything? Like, I don't know. And so, because he's acting like he's a doctor and he knows all the doctor stuff, apparently.
I mean, he's the same,
but he's not wearing the uniform.
But yeah, I mean, he's having that, like, midlife crisis thing of, like, I don't know what I am because my body and my mind were reconstituted from nothing.
Yeah, and I think we get more of that in the next one, right? Or is it all this one?
They're just, like, tapping on it. It's like almost like, why did you bring this character back?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, what? How long ago did they bring him back? 5 episodes now?
Yeah, it's been
What have
a
we done
while.
with Hugh?
Nothing.
Ugh. I don't know why.
Uh, also, by the way, Leland killed Michael's parents.
Oh yeah.
We had to reveal that also,
I
which I think they mentioned before, right? Like we heard that we heard Leland say it or something.
we've heard that Leland doesn't want to. He didn't want to be around Burnham because he felt guilt, and they didn't say why.
Right. Okay. I
So
knew we had a hint at that,
yeah,
and so we find out that they worked for him, and that's why.
yeah. She's the plot reveals keep coming as we power skid around a different corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Your parents
exactly.
were actually secret agents for Section 31, developing a spacesuit that uses time crystals to affect the future because we thought the Klingons were also trying to create a time war and wipe us out. It's like,
Yep.
whoa, slow down.
Did literally no one learn anything from the temporal war way back in Enterprise?
I literally don't understand. I think that this is directly connected to that idea, right? Like the temporal war is out there, and so they must have figured out that the Klingons were also trying to do this kind of thing. But yeah, like you would have thought, like, that was a really big problem in Enterprise. And when did the guy not show up again to be like, "Hey, Section 31, it's me, the dude
guy from the future
Enterprise, from the future. Maybe you should not do this."
That I'm here to stop you from ruining everything again.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that dude from the future isn't worried about the AI wiping out all life.
I guess so.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they come up with the
I
worst
literally
plan
have 3
I've
times
ever
in my
heard.
notes. Like, please, what is the time crystal? Do I not know
Right.
this from something else?
No, you don't. Time crystals aren't a thing.
Nope.
They just made it up for this because they needed to have a magical timey-wimey device, and this is what they came up with.
I guess when
It's
I looked
stupid.
it up,
They couldn't have just like had her make a suit and be like, yeah, there's like a magic part of the like. Why do you have to have a magic part of the suit? You can't just have a suit. They made a time suit. There you go. That's it. You don't have to have a crystal.
I mean, like
And then he shoots it with a gun later. Oh no, the suit broke. It got shot by a gun.
yeah,
This is fine. You don't need to have a magic time crystal.
no, clearly you don't. I mean, none of the other shows had it, and they did time stuff. I don't understand.
Yeah, it works fine.
Why did
Chrono particles. Who
I don't
cares?
understand.
Science.
I literally
Over
don't
here,
get
it works.
Yeah.
We didn't need magic time crystals to do the time stuff before. Don't need it now. It's terrible. I literally
really
wrote
bad.
a gigantic all caps time crystal like 4 times in this episode and the next one too. Because it's just like, I don't know why did we do this?
I don't know.
Pointless.
But through this through line though, the entire time I just am reminded how much in love I am with Michelle Yeoh and her portrayal of this Philippa Georgiou Terran.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every second she's on screen in these 2
it's good.
episodes is just like so good.
It's good. Like quickly escalating towards my favorite character.
Oh, rapid ascension, probably outpacing everyone else in the show.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was Spock has a really good line here. What was it? He goes like that was satisfying or something. What did he do? This is after Culber visits what's her name? The Admiral.
Oh, Cornwell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Don't you
before they
love
start
that?
the stupid plan.
His entire point is like, so Admiral, you used to be a therapist, and you're like, really, dude? We're in the midst of this huge crisis, and you're going back like 40 years in her career and being like, so we don't really have a Deanna Troi on this show. You want to like step into that for 3 seconds?
It's like, do you think there's someone else on the ship who could also be a therapist?
Yeah, who's maybe not in the midst of a big problem.
You know what they do in these kinds of cases in people in real life? They talk to their friends. You could have Dr. Culber talk to one of the other bridge women or people who are there he could be friends and be like, man, I'm just so torn up about all this stuff. I don't really know. And then his friend would be like, bro, I get it.
Wouldn't it
And
be
that's the
great
scene.
if
And you learn stuff about the other guy and find out that Colbert is also friends with so-and-so.
Wouldn't it be great if
I made the show better. You're welcome.
Wouldn't it be great if Goatee Guy had anything to do except say something's wrong while on the bridge and trying to target something?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, there you go. That's the guy. There you go. Colbert can be friends with that guy.
And
there you
all
go.
of a sudden,
and then he gets a scene off the he gets a scene off the bridge. They're sitting in the lunchroom, and Colbert just has his head in his hands and feels all bad. And his friend comes up, he's like, "Bro, I know you need to talk. Let's talk it out." And then there you go. That's the scene. You don't need to involve the admiral, who's probably busy.
Yeah. Very weird. Very weird. This show. I know why they're doing it, and it's because they don't have time. But then they find time for things like this.
Which,
I don't know.
Do you mean this terrible plan that they came up with?
No, the plan is why they don't have time to think out things like what other characters should we develop off the bridge? Because we got to spend 35 minutes explaining our stupid plan.
Their stupid plan, which, to be clear, the plan is let Burnham commit suicide. That's the plan.
Yep.
Now, suicide is a complicated topic, and there's a lot of things going on here. But Pike is cool with this?
No, Pike is not cool with this. Pike is not cool with this. In fact, as the plan goes down, everyone wants to abandon the plan as... Okay, so here's the plan. Sonequa Jones' character... What's her name? Sonequa
Martin Green?
Martin Green, yeah. Sonequa Martin Green is going to act her ass off.
Carry this show, please.
She does.
Acting.
She really does.
You're right.
She carries the weight of this entire series of things that has to go down right now on her back. Mm-hmm. And boy, she acts her butt off, and it's the only reason it's good. She has to sit in a chair on a planet where they're going to use the planet as a power thing to create a field around the Red Angel.
Do some magic stuff.
To capture it.
Right.
But she has to
capture the Red Angel.
She has to look or appear like she's dying.
No, not look. She has to actually die.
Well, they think that the Red Angel will show up if she's pretending to die. But then it doesn't work, and everyone wants to pull the plug, except Spock, who's like, nah, let her die.
No, Burnham is like shaking her head and be like, no. And somehow Spock interprets this to mean, yes, she wants to die.
Yeah.
Spock, my man.
Yeah.
You're going a little far here.
Real crazy.
Yeah. Let's do some self-examinations here.
So she dies.
Yeah, so Spock literally holds everyone hostage, Giorgio and Stamets and everyone else down on the planet. He's like, no, you can't go out there and save her. And he's pointing a phaser at him. And so then she dies, and then the Red Angel appears.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it worked.
Resuscitates her with a red beam of light. Magic
health beam.
And what's his name? Leland gets stabbed in the eye.
Does that? Oh, it does happen here. Yes, it does.
Which was awful.
And then
why was that?
The lady falls out of the thing.
Why is there a needle in that machine?
Great question.
Right? Like, why is there a needle in that machine?
Great question.
I don't know. Okay.
The lady falls out of the suit, and it turns out it's her mom.
Oh,
mom. At the very end,
that happens right there, right?
Yeah, that's the very end.
The very end is it's not her, it's her mom.
Yep.
Twist.
All right. Next episode.
11 opens on a flashback
to the time crystal.
To the parents. So mom and dad. The dad is played by Kenrick Green, by the way.
Should I know him from something?
Martin Green. Sonequa Martin Green, Kenrick Green.
Oh, is it her actual
It's her
dad?
real life husband, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
Who was also on Walking Dead with her. I think that's where they met.
Very cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. I noted. I was like, wait a minute. When I saw him, I was like, I know that guy. And so I looked him up, and I was like, oh, crazy. That's her husband.
I like this little scene with the parents and the young. We've seen young Burnham a few times in this season, and young Burnham and the parents, have a little family moment.
They did a good job casting young Burnham. She's really good.
Yes, I like this kid. Kids often can be tough to cast and act bad. This one did a good job.
Yeah.
And we see a ship land that, Andrew, I know you want to talk about. What is this ship, man?
How do we? I don't even know.
I don't know either. I've never seen it before. I literally wrote in my notes, what the heck is this ship?
So did you look it up?
No.
I didn't.
Bro, that's here's the thing. I've decided I will never do research about this show ever again because the show writers didn't care enough to do any research either. Why should I?
Yeah. I don't even know. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, not surprising. Because it doesn't look like a bird of prey, right? But it has a weird kind of like the wings are angled in that way that you could maybe believe it's supposed to be or something.
Yeah.
But it's all raised up in a weird way with like a weird, I don't know, throat area or something.
Was it one of the ones from the TV show? Maybe?
I don't remember having seen it before.
From that movie, the second one.
The second one.
The one with the remake of Khan.
Oh, I have no idea. Again, I saw that movie once. I don't remember it.
Oh, okay.
Also, that movie didn't take place in the past, right? Although I guess it's only 20 years from.
It would be contemporaneous with this.
Yeah,
roughly.
Okay. But Kelvin timeline instead of this, right?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look this ship up later because I still I don't get it. I don't get why they keep bringing either this is a ship we've seen and it's at such a strange angle that like I don't recognize it. And if you know what it is, or we're just missing that it's a bird of prey or something,
please write in. I really want to know. Yeah, podcast@weweregamers.com. Please tell us.
They just need to get to the D7 and the modern bird of prey. Like we need to be done with these wacky I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad. I don't know. It was weird. It took me out of the scene. It was really annoying. And I liked the rest of the scene.
They did say they were some sort of like commando unit.
Mm-hmm.
That was supposedly engaged to take out this thing because they somehow knew they were doing the time crystal thing and then they came to assassinate them. So maybe, I don't
know, man.
I don't get it. Okay. We got to move on.
Whatever. Got to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's her mom. She's out. Burnham is losing it.
Because she wants to go see her, but they're like, you have tachyon poisoning or something.
Yep. Conveniently forgotten later, thankfully. And man, this new like hollow AI sure is dumb. That's what I.
Oh, really?
Because like, you see Leland getting like, I don't know, eviled up or whatever.
Nanited, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Squid babied or something. And it's just like immediately like straps him to a chair and is like, let me explain my evil plan to you.
Yeah, well, why, right? Well, you're just going to take him over with nanites. He'll know your evil plan.
He didn't need to tell him.
Yeah.
Like, he'll know as soon as you inject the thing into his brain or whatever, and he'll know real good then.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was very silly to me. And then we find that
what's her face? They hand Burnham the log of missions that her mom has been on. 850 time jumps.
Yes, because apparently this thing has infinite energy somehow. Time crystal. Also infinite storage. We learn later. Time crystal. And the problem now in this episode is that the universe is pulling back. We're pulling down and keeping him here, and equal and opposite reactions mean that she's being pulled back into the future again, which makes no damn sense at all.
Her mom has to yo-yo back to 950 years in the future no matter what happens. It's like, okay.
Because the universe says so. And time is alive because magic.
We quote Isaac Newton 4 times.
Yeah. This is some of the worst. Like, okay, Star Trek has always done science as magic, right? That's normal for the show.
Yeah.
Like, tachyons explain millions of things in the show. Engineers wave their hands over stuff and are like, oh, the readings on this thing have gone down. But it's like, they do it in a way that is like, you could believe that there's science that proves what this guy is saying, right? Sure. Here, this is like science as an explanation to hand wave away science.
Yeah.
It's just like,
why?
Oh, the universe is pulling back. That makes perfect sense because Newton has a law, right, guys? Yeah. That's not what happened. Like, you could just rephrase all of these lines and have it not be annoying and like pull you out of the scene by saying things like, oh, the gravitational waves of time or whatever are pulling her back into the future. By my calculations, this will overwhelm our power in 4 hours. There you go. I fixed the scene. And like, they do this over and over and over in this part of this show where they're just like, why is this thing this way? I don't know. Easily quotable thing that a average person will have heard of. Oh, okay. That explains it. And it's like, no, it doesn't. You just hand waved it away.
So
yeah.
What's the difference between, in your mind, and I have an answer for this, I think, between creating silly Star Trek jargon to hand wave it away and this kind of like base high school science in the future I think
the difference is the unwillingness to engage with concepts beyond like a base level of education. It's like, does this require you to accept that this person knows higher math or something?
Mm-hmm.
I have to believe that Geordi is some kind of like hyper competent engineer and took a lot of schooling to learn why tachyons work like this.
Because
in this way because he says stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the way they say this is like, oh, obviously any person could know that Newton has a law. Right. So therefore we can ignore this problem because Newton has a law. It doesn't require you to engage with like a scientific or intelligent explanation for anything. Okay. It just requires you to understand basic math or physics or whatever.
But we're in the future and we're trying to create some sort of crazy system. And so they should have a better answer.
In things that are far beyond basic physics and math, right? Like, we're trying to pull a person out of time and hold them here against a tether and all this stuff. Like, explain it using the systems you already told us are in play.
Right, yeah.
Instead of just saying Newton's law and then, okay, we don't have to handle this problem anymore.
Yeah, because later on when he says, like, they're using all this power to hold her there, right?
Right, yeah.
And later on in this episode, they're like, okay, we'll increase the power. And he's like, well, we can't do that. If we increase the power, the universe will increase the pull. And you're like,
why? How does it? Is that true? That, like, how can that be true?
If that's true, then like, how there's either homeostasis at a certain power level, or this doesn't work.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Like,
but they don't engage with that idea at all. It's just like, oh, well, the universe is just going to keep pulling harder. It's like, no, it's not, man.
Well, if
that's not how
it could be if you don't apply equal and opposite reactions, because equal and opposite goes both ways. So which means there's homeostasis, right? That's why gravity works.
Yeah, that's why everyone doesn't get crushed into the earth by gravity all the time. It is a like fundamental misapplication of how science works and scientific thinking. I think that bothers me. Right? Because like if you're thinking scientifically about why it happens, eventually whatever force is pulling her back into the future, you can either overpower that force, right? And therefore there isn't any.
Which they said no, they could
her.
They could do it, but they need a supernova.
Right. And so like they can't overpower the force, right? Because they don't have a supernova. So this was always going to be a problem.
Right.
Why didn't they start explaining that then, rather than using a simple analogy later that hand waves away the problem, right?
It's very confusing.
It's extremely confusing. So the whole thing now is about getting the sphere data, right? And evil Leland now is all like, how does everyone on that Section 31 ship just not immediately notice that he's acting bad?
You know, he talks about like how he's cultivated this air of not knowing whether or not he's a good guy or bad guy. So
I just mean from the stuff
our favorite
we've
character
seen,
figures it out before anyone else, right? And that's
yes,
why
of course,
she's my favorite character.
Yes,
but,
that is it.
Yeah, they try to delete the archive, right? Because
the
Pike
data
says that's it. You know what? I don't care what the repercussions are. I don't care that the sphere wanted us to save the data. I don't care that it could be.
Saru's like, this is like burning the Library of Alexandria, or another analogy to the Library of Alexandria that I'd never heard of. And Pike is like, too bad. Delete it.
He's like, torch it.
But Andrew, the data won't allow itself to be deleted. Okay.
Look, it's encrypted.
That's not how data works.
It's encrypted in a dead language. You can't.
The data encrypted itself. Okay. The data is alive too.
Mm-hmm. You can't just press delete on an encrypted file, JJ.
That's not how data works, you guys. Again, the lack of someone applying.
An intern in the office could have been like, "What? Why?" Like,
any person that has used a computer could just be like, "You can just delete encrypted files. It works fine." Like, there's no problem with that.
What part of this is stored in a computer means we can't delete it?
All of this made it like they spent this whole scene to explain why they can't just delete the data.
Look,
right?
Secure erase.
Why did they even bother with this scene?
Fine.
Don't try to delete the data just because they then have a stupid plan that follows later. But like, why even do that? Don't do this scene. Just do the thing. Just like plan the rest of your scene and ignore the part where they could just delete it over there. Having a plot hole like that, where it's like, you could have just deleted the data to start with, is better maybe than having a terrible scene try to explain away the pothole.
Write zeros over it.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are ways to delete data, right? But the whole thing about like, oh, this data won't allow itself to be deleted, which is a thing that they come to later. And the reason they come up with their cockamamie scheme to beam it into the future or whatever is like, just what a joke, dude.
Hey, remember that Ariam was a cyborg and she already futzed with this thing? Maybe she did something to prevent you from deleting it.
There you go, man. You explained it better than they did. And then you don't have to have a dumb scene. And it saves on the budget too, because you could have just used like, the 3-dot flashing instead of like a weird had to
Ariam
do special
locked
effects.
us out of the delete command.
There you go, man.
Oh, no.
It'll take us a while to fix this. Oh, we won't have enough time to fix it before what's her name gets pulled back into the future.
Option.
There you go.
Yeah. We can transfer and delete though. Somehow transferring isn't copying. That's the other thing about this that I'm
Oh, no,
kind
no.
of like,
So it's they're cutting and pasting, Andrew.
Yes.
They don't know about copying.
Yeah.
It's just cut and paste.
Cut and
Only
paste
that's the only
exists.
thing you can do in the future.
apparently there's no such thing as copy file, and where you still now you have two sets of data you've got to get rid of.
Yep. Yeah, it's only one thing, and you can upload it, and then it's gone from the other side. See, you don't ever make copies of things. That's not how it
Good
works.
God.
It's just like computer illiteracy
what
all
a
over
mess.
this episode.
What an absolute mess of computer illiteracy.
It's just bad.
don't get it.
But hey, Andrew, are you excited to learn that Spock's crippling failing is that he has dyslexia?
Is it a crippling failing? I think it's a strength, JJ.
Spock certainly sees it as a crippling failing.
It allows him to understand how time is out of order.
Because dyslexia.
I
just wrote dyslexia LOL in caps all over this page.
We do not condone that dyslexia is funny. It's a hard condition to live with. I know.
I'm sure it is. It's tough, man. I believe it. And I feel for anyone that has this problem. But the idea that him having like a learning disability is the thing that makes him special and unique. What?
His
because he has dyslexia.
Empathy, his Vulcan side gives him logic, and the dyslexia allows him to understand things that are out of order in time.
Oh, no, you didn't need this. Just do because he's a human and a Vulcan. Do that. That's good. And he knows Burnham. That's all you needed to do.
That's literally it, right? It's because he's human, Vulcan, and knows Burnham. That's all they needed.
Just be like, oh, who does Burnham know that I could go to and tell this stuff to and might have a chance of understanding me, the Red Angel?
They had to write
Spock,
dyslexia.
the guy who's a human.
They had to write dyslexia into episode 4 to do this.
I know. It's so dumb.
I really want to be very clear here that it's not funny and it's not something to be ashamed of to have dyslexia.
No, it's a perfectly normal condition that happens to millions of people.
And many more millions than people even think, because so many people have either learned workarounds for it or don't even understand like that they are affected by it. Like this is like a serious thing that like
of course
it's a real serious thing, and it's treated here like some sort of
it's like magic power
that like is connected to universal understanding. It's like, dude, this is like a real thing that affects people, and like
Spock even says like, I trained for years to get rid of this problem, like to understand and to fix it, you know. And Burnham's like, it's what makes you special. It's like, what, dude? That's what? You just called Spock, the guy with the learning disability, special now too? Like, just so. Oh my gosh, man! I'm not laughing at. I'm laughing at the like situation, not because he has dyslexia. Like, I guess giving a beloved character a like flaw that we never knew was there is an interesting way to make a spin on him or something. I don't think that like, this itself is bad.
Dude, when they brought it up and they were like, actually, Sarek doesn't hate Spock because he's half human. Sarek hates Spock because he has dyslexia. I was like, whoa, hold on. That's crazy and kind of cool.
I didn't hate it when they brought it up, you know? And then it was like,
I was like, this is really interesting that they gave Spock a backstory where like he's been dealing with more than just human emotions. He has like a human learning disability, and he had to overcome that to become Vulcan enough to make people understand him and like proud of him, and like that was cool. And then they turn it on its head and they're like,
it's also
so
why he's special.
Time. It's like, wait,
time.
Stop.
It's like, no,
go back to the good part of this.
You didn't need to do that last part.
I know. Get somebody get the liquid paper. Hurry.
I know, dude. Man,
you know, if episode 10 was them rolling the rock uphill, this is the downhill part where it is out of control. It's just, the rock is just spinning downhill
Our
as fast
car
as it
on
can go.
Our car on the road analogy, we crested the hill going 120, and now we are in free fall towards the road where no one can see the road to know if it's full of potholes or not. Who cares? We already hit the
We
jump.
are in midair. Wow. I like our car
Hamlet.
analogy.
They like to quote Hamlet a lot during this episode.
I actually they quoted it here, but it's a Star Trek thing to use Shakespeare. Like it's not
I'm
unusual.
I'm not commenting that it's bad. I don't have an issue with it at all. Hamlet, hell yeah, is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, is what I'm talking about. I'm into that. I love that. Like, I love that in the future, like Klingons are going to be quoting Shakespeare at Spock, and now we know that Spock also knows Shakespeare, and like, there's this entire universe of like people that
Classical literature
are
in
taken
like
human-
super future.
Yeah, they've taken human classic literature and are like, we've studied thousands of years of Earth culture, and yes, you were all right. Shakespeare was the one. Like, okay,
I know. It's like everyone is like, I think we should read this Hamlet play. Even in Klingon, we need to. It's like Klingon primary school teaches Hamlet because apparently it's that good.
Well, I mean, it's really great in the original Klingon.
It must be, right? That's what I'm told.
So Burnham and her mother finally meet, and they stick their hand in your chest and rip out your beating heart and crush it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
literally.
She's just like, no,
Martin
I'm not going to give you
again
what you want.
Saves everything with the strongest acting of all time.
And like, thank goodness, because like these scenes could have been extremely cringy if this was done bad.
Yeah.
Like acted poorly. But thankfully she does a good job and sells like her mother literally like stepping on her heart.
Oh God. I paused it and I'm like, do I believe this is how this would go? And I thought about it for a while and I'm like, yeah, I think after 900 missions and 20 years of her life,
right,
she would be this disaffected by like she's disconnected from reality at this point, right? Mm-hmm. And she says later, like, babe, I've seen you die so many times. I like physically can't connect to you. I think she says to Pike, you're all ghosts to me. Like,
yeah, she does say
you're not
that,
alive. Yeah. You're just puppets, you know?
Yeah, you're just shadows, I'm just here, doing this thing. You people are just like, you'll all be gone in a little bit, right?
Pretty good.
It's a good scene.
Yeah.
It's a good scene. They come up with some dark matter plan to free her. They're gonna somehow
transport her out of time
with dark matter.
Matter.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a supernova.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I don't hate this.
If there was,
this would be fine.
Crystal.
Right. If there wasn't the time stuff, I would be okay with this. This is like the perfect, like, we could use dark matter through the transporter amplifiers and do all this stuff. Like, yes, this is fine. Do that.
It's fine because you didn't do the thing where you're like, but then the equal and opposite react. And it's like, no, just stop. Just use dark matter to transport her out of time and just like
exactly
accept the Geordi idea and move on.
Yeah. I accepted this. This was great. I thought it was silly, but I was like, yeah, great. This is the kind of Star Trek silliness I want.
Dark matter transporter.
I want this.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And
fine.
Here is where we get maybe my favorite part of the episode. The Georgiou Tyler alliance is formed.
So good. So Leland tricks Georgiou, he doesn't trick her. I guess he plays on her desire to be the most important woman in the universe. And he's like, yo, this time traveler knows more than you. Don't you want to get rid of her? Here's my plan.
And also,
for getting rid of
she's
her.
dangerous.
Yes.
Because she knows more than you. And also, Burnham loves her more than you. Isn't that a problem?
He really rips on her. And it works.
Yeah, it does work.
It should work.
Watching her, and you're just like, did he know to push all these buttons before? Like, doesn't this seem kind of weird?
It's like those like, like in Jurassic Park, the breaker scene It's just like I was watching him flip every breaker very slowly, and you can just see Michelle Yeoh's perfect acting in this scene where she's just like, I'm not buying it, and he flips another breaker, and she's just like, no, I'm still not buying it. Flips another breaker, and he's just like,
well, maybe.
Flips another breaker.
She's like, all right, I'm in.
And then you electrocute Tim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like right at the end there.
Right at the end.
Man, it's so good. It's well done.
And they trick. So she goes down there and places this device that's stealing the upload to the suit.
Stealing the cut and paste.
Right. Yeah. She's intercepting the cut and paste and uploading it to Section 31.
This could work. This is the only data stuff they get right that could work. You could redirect the transfer.
Or you don't even need to redirect the transfer. You could just copy the transfer. Right again.
You could just put a logger in there and just steal all the bits as they go through.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole thing, copying. Anyway, so they have this plan. Section 31 is doing this thing while the transfer is ongoing. The plan is transferring this data to the suit, and they're going to shoot the suit into a perpetual wormhole future. They're going to beam the suit. Their suit is going to snap back into the future, and they're going to force the suit to keep jumping into the future, I guess.
Somehow. Yeah.
And so it will always be in the future of wherever it is, and therefore the AI could never get it. And they will beam Burnham's mother out so that she lives in the present now.
This is a great plan that we all knew was never going to work, right?
Yeah, of course, right? There's no way this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so, as a part of this, JoJo catches on that...
Interestingly, she says that Burnham's mom says a line word for word that Leland says.
Right. He's like, I am... They made a deal of it, right? Because they flash back to JoJo going, huh? And then Leland also saying the line.
Yeah.
It's like
because she knew this plan was never going to work, or just because she knew the AI had said that before?
Oh, I feel like she just knew that that's a thing that the AI says about her. That's the way I took it.
Okay, that's fine. I accept that answer. I was more concerned about like her reaction to this situation did not beget the argument that she knew what was going to happen. Because if she knew what was going to happen, she would have just sat down on the ground and not done anything as it played out. Right.
Right. Exactly. I think it's like from the way I took the scene, she says this to JoJo, right? He's like, I'm a threat that can't be handled or whatever. I forget what the line is exactly. But it's the exact words that Leland had used to her about this lady earlier.
Right.
And JoJo's like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. And then my favorite part of the show so far is the JoJo Tyler alliance, where she messages him on the secure channel.
Why are you texting me? Is like the
basically he's like Philippa, why are you texting me? This is weird, dude. And she's like, if you betray me, I will live long enough to make sure I hurt you slowly.
It really reminded me in like a weird way of Dwight in The Office, where he does that like episode on making alliances with people. Mm-hmm.
A little bit, like,
we're in an alliance. It's like, okay,
we're in this together, and if you betray me, I will murder you slowly.
He's just like, his reaction's pretty
I didn't
good.
agree.
Like,
did I agree to this?
But his reaction's like, she's like, I'll kill you, and he's like, I've died before.
Yeah. So good, man. And then clearly they proceed to hatch a plan off screen. We get a fight scene, because we always have to have a fight scene, Andrew. We can't ever just have something resolve. We have to shoot each other and or punch each other or
Michelle
something.
Yeoh's on screen. There needs to be martial arts at some point.
You know what? I didn't hate this as much as I hated the one in the last episode. I'll say that.
There was a lot more shooting in this, which makes some sense.
Yes. And eventually at some point, the AI decides that it's had enough. We have to beam down it. Because Michelle Yeoh turns the transfer off, right? She stops the stealing of the
and data. Tyler walks in on Leland's face coming apart or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, like the AI doing evil stuff there. And so he beats the crap out of Tyler and stabs him
with glass. Tyler tells Discovery what's happening. Everybody's got it all out in the open. We know that Leland's the bad guy. He beams down. There's a big fight, and they kind of manage to stop him, but the
He
only way they
shoots
can
the
stop
suit.
him is, yes, he does shoot the suit, and there's a big point that it hits the crystal, and she says no, but there's no resolution of what that means. As
I think the way I took it is like, oh no, now she's just stuck in the future and can't time travel anymore.
I see.
That was
Okay.
that was how I took it. But maybe
Well, don't
I'm
worry,
wrong.
they can just get a time crystal apparently.
Yeah.
They come up with the plan that they have to send the suit with whatever amount of data that the suit got versus, oh man, we'll get to that in a
because the
second.
universe is still pulling back, so they eventually have
Right.
to release the suit, right?
So they shoot the machine and it sends her and the suit back into the future.
Yep.
They beam everybody out and they nuke the planet, but Leland gets away.
Because we can't resolve it yet. There are still more episodes in the season.
Right. Did I miss anything at the end there?
Oh, no. The very end, Spock and Burnham sit down to play chess again.
And we finally
That's the
see
end.
something I've never seen before in this show. The buckles on their boots are sideways Star Trek logos, Starfleet logos, badges.
Whoa.
Not even joking. She's laying on the bed. The buckles.
I don't think
on
I
her
noticed
boots-
that.
The buckles on her boots are silver Starfleet badges going sideways.
Wow. I always thought their boots looked kind of dumb. So I am, okay. So like, look at their boots, right? And then look at the shoes and stuff that they wear on TNG and DS9 or whatever. They're just wearing shoes, man.
Yeah, well, even in Enterprise, it was like, these are like combat boots or flight boots or whatever. Not a big deal.
Right. And
Don't
now
look
they're
at the
wearing
shoes.
like chonky boots in this show.
Real chonky boots.
And, I don't know, is it just like, is Sonequa Martin Green just like really short? And so they want to try and like
Oh, there's a
step her up or something,
there's
but
a
like
scene, I
they're
think
wearing some chonky boots, man. And in all the other shows, people are just wearing shoes.
When
It's
they
just
use-
normal.
When they use the transporter at one point, you see how short Michelle Yeoh is accidentally.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice.
Yeah, she hits the teleport pad with Leland early on, I think in episode 10 or something. And I was like, is that a child? Oh, it's Michelle Yeoh. She's like 3 feet shorter than other people in the show.
I mean, she isn't a tall woman, but like,
yeah.
Usually they fix that stuff with perspective. I guess they missed a scene.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
It didn't help that she was so like the camera angle put Leland like center camera close, and then she was camera right, but the angle was like Dutched so that she was far from the camera. So she's already gonna look
look shorter
perspective.
anyway, right?
She's gonna look shorter, and then she's already shorter, so it just made her look like tiny. It's pretty funny.
Oops.
Yeah, it's one of those.
So
we should have shot that a different way. Oh well, we only have one take of it, and we don't have time.
yeah, exactly. This is like we get one shot at this. Oh well. So I mean, this brings us to the end here. I think
There's one thing I want to talk about here.
Okay, let's go.
Arium already transferred some data
Mm-hmm.
to the computer on control on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
In here, they say they stole about 50% of the transfer.
Mm-hmm.
It's an AI. It's gotten 2 transfers of data, possibly overlapping, right? Like if it's a cut
Maybe,
paste, then it's the same data over and over again because
It doesn't. Also, again, this isn't how we don't have to work like this with data. You can take different parts of it.
you
if
could
want, like-
could, right, if you knew what you were taking in advance or sending anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
So he has upwards of 50 to 80% of the data depending on what he stole.
Mm-hmm.
How much more does he really need?
Yeah. So like, this is the other thing too, right? Like this sphere data or whatever, right? The whole point is that the sphere gathered information of all kinds of stuff, right? All sorts of things. Like it gathered it on
Right.
languages and other cultures
So
and all this stuff.
sentient
But,
AI is probably like 1% of the data. He may already have it.
Right. Like, why did it need all the data? Like, does it need to know about all the dead languages and stuff? No, right? It probably needs to know the stuff about the AIs
Or
that it
maybe
needs.
maybe it needs all the data to become sentient. I don't know. I don't get what
Again,
their
unexplained.
implication is.
But yes, it's extremely silly the way they do that. But, hey, we get what we get.
Yep.
I don't know. Oh,
Mhm.
well. I think my I want to wrap up here,
Yeah.
or towards wrapping up here. I think my opinion of these 3 episodes, like, I enjoyed watching them. I don't think I will ever watch them again.
Unlike other Star Treks.
Yeah.
I see what
I
you're
don't
saying.
feel like again, maybe my opinion will change as we get to the last set of episodes here. We haven't watched yet. I don't know. But I don't, because of the narrative, like, through forward put of this series, I don't know that I ever need to rewatch Discovery,
I don't think you would need to, right? Like, you know how it ends. There's
Right.
no real episodes that are standalones, so you're not going to pick up. I'm not going to pick up the Saru standalone episodes, which is like the only ones I can think of off the top of my head,
Yeah.
and watch them. I get what
So
you're
that's
saying. I get what you're saying. I really, it's really sucks to like bag on particular things that are really bad, because it makes it sound like we're thinking like everything's bad, but like, man, some of this is so good, right?
Mhm.
Like, some of it
Yeah,
is so
there was
good.
a great acting. There
There
is
is
really good acting in
Top
here.
notch, should win Emmy levels of acting from some of these people for some of this stuff. But then there's stuff like, you think about the show in its entirety in season 2. How many times have you seen Jet Reno?
Yeah.
Why did they why introduce some of these characters? Why not put time into some of these characters? There's a lot of stuff that stands to be like, did you think about this in a whole?
Yeah.
Of course they did. They're writing a show. They had to have. But like, it's weird without finishing it to try and guess where they're going and why they did certain things. And then when you get moments early in the show that you think are great, and then you find out that they were using them for some agenda later, like the dyslexia thing, like, that is a tiny little piece of Spock that could have been just stayed a tiny piece of Spock that this show added, and instead they had to take it because they needed it for some sort of explanation they didn't need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it gets me, and where I have to make comments that make it sound like I don't enjoy what I'm watching, because it's not entirely true. I am enjoying what I'm watching. I wouldn't keep watching it if I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah, and I think like that's something we should make clear,
Yeah.
that like, we're having a fun time watching this. If we hated it, we would have stopped.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are parts of it, and again, we talked about it this whole episode. Parts of it we don't like.
Yeah. But
we don't dislike it enough to stop watching it.
yeah, because
I guess,
I
guess, I don't know. There's possible I will, but seems unlikely at this point.
on the whole, I don't. I don't dislike it. On the whole, right? I kind of like it. I just think of like, there's moments here that could have just been like taken out or redone, and just, I wonder what this show is, if it's what you said, where the A plot becomes the B plot. I wonder what this show is if each season is 8 episodes instead of 14. There's a lot of room here for different stuff to have happened.
Yeah. And I don't know if I don't know what the answer is here. Like, it would making it shorter have been better. Maybe they needed to add more filler. Maybe they needed to have like more episodes about individual characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe that would have made it better. I don't know.
Yeah, because it walks this weird limbo right now,
because remember when this season started, we sort of thought like, oh, were they going to start doing like an episode of the week thing, and we were kind of excited for that.
Yeah.
And obviously we were wrong, but like, I didn't, maybe it would have been better if they had done that. I don't know.
There were, man. So like the previous season, it's go, 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 and they kill characters, and they develop people as the show is going. You get development from Stamets. You get development when Hugh dies. You get and they don't sit and focus, but you get the development as things happen. And then they try and sit and focus somewhere in the beginning of this season, and then they stop again, and they get back to the A plot, and then they drop in these like 5-minute moments with some of these characters, and you're just like, we're not focusing enough to keep doing this. So like either do it or don't do it. But stop trying to like tightrope walk other types of Trek and either commit to being a narrative only show.
Yeah.
Where we'll get character development as we go. That's fine. Like that happens, man. Like
yeah, exactly.
But
like don't try to have it both ways. You don't need to. Like it's not necessary even.
Yeah. Don't keep filling the middle of each season with Monster of the Week stuff.
And then also don't make every episode have to have a fight scene.
Yeah.
Similarly, right? Like it's a I don't know if it is just like some mandate by a producer or something, but like it really feels like every episode ends up getting warped by this idea that every episode has to end with a fight or have some kind of fight in it, space battle. There can't be any episode that doesn't have like an explosion or fists or guns. And like there are plenty of episodes of Star Trek throughout the years that have no shooting, no fists, no guns whatsoever.
I think it's also really starting to pan out for me on one of the things I don't understand is why they named it Discovery. Because there've been moments along the way here where you think, okay, cool, this is going to be like the science ship that when Enterprise discovers something or finds something that needs further study, these guys are going to go out and look for it. And then there's like the spore drive. And it's like, okay, well, maybe they discover stuff in alternate reality spore drive land, and then they don't do that. And then these seven signals happen, and they're part of weird stellar phenomena we need to go study. Oh, okay, that's
we're discovering this stuff.
It's just they could have named this Star Trek Warship because all it does is really get in fights.
Yeah. I think it's a big failing of this series that their solution to everything is eventually to have an action scene.
It's really it's one of the reasons I'm excited for a spin-off of the Section 31 stuff, because if they can get away from it, maybe season 3 is finally like, and things calmed down for Discovery after that under Captain Burnham.
And then they can go have the action show with Michelle Yeoh, who's better at it than all these other people, right? Like,
yeah.
I want to call out here another video because I watched this like a little bit ago. I'll link it here in our chat so that you can watch it when you're done. But I don't know if you ever watched Red Letter Media before. These two guys, these are the people that did the like Mr. Plinkett review of the Star Trek or Star Wars prequel movies that are like an hour and a half long and ripping into the movie and why it's terrible, right? These two dudes, Mike and Rich, are like big Star Trek fans. Specifically, they both like The Next Generation a lot, and this video is them talking about some of their favorite episodes of Next Generation. But they break down each of these individual episodes and talk about like why the episodes are good. And at one point in here, Mike, the guy on the right in this the thumbnail, talks about like here are a bunch of different types of episodes that you get in Star Trek TNG, right? And he's like, and most of these episodes have like the A-B plot thing, which is very common in TNG, where it has like the main overarching thing that the episode is about. Like this is a Riker episode, but it has like this B plot of like Crusher and Wesley having a problem or something like that, right?
Sure. And
it's like there are these like 8 or 9 different types of episodes, right? Where it's like, oh, there's you have to meet an ancient alien, or this one is about doing something else. And there's like, the episodes vaguely fall into these like various categories. And there are like 8 or 9 different ones that he came up with. And he's like, as compared with Discovery, I have one category of episode for Discovery,
right?
Because all the episodes all end up falling to like the same kind of pattern where there's the main plot, and then eventually you have a big fight scene that resolves it. And he's like, that sucks. And so anyway, I wanted to call that out because I was thinking about it. And it really is true that this series, I think, is the Discovery now I'm talking about is worsened for not having variety in the type of episodes that it comes up with, because all of them end up having to come back to having this fight scene again.
You know, it's not, I don't think it's worsened. I think it's worsened by the idea that everything ends up in a fight. I don't think it's worsened though by the lack of variety in plot structure, right? I don't think it has to be TNG. I don't think that it has to provide you with Monster of the Week or anything else. This could be prestige Star Trek only with a narrative plot structure that goes one to one to one to each episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they had trouble both seasons here committing to that structure. They had a space whale episode in the first season, right? Like,
right. Yeah, that's true.
Harry Mudd's funny. Harry Mudd is like important for having gotten Tyler to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond Harry Mudd getting Tyler to the ship, we didn't need Harry Mudd takes over the ship. It was a fun episode. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because that was the type of thing they were committing to. B plot becomes A plot becomes B plot, right?
Right.
Stick to that or don't.
Yeah, I just think I mean, you're right? It doesn't have to be a
TNG clone.
A TNG clone, of course.
We're going to get that in the other
and
show.
It was never going to be.
That's what Strange New Worlds is going to be, right? It's going to be...
Is it? I don't know.
Strange New Worlds is supposedly going to be a throwback to the original Star Trek, and since TNG is a throwback to the original Star Trek, you're going to get some blend of 60s and TNG Star Trek where it's Monster of the Week, solve things without fighting, that type of stuff. I hope. Well, that's the promise.
Yeah, I also hope then, because
that's the promise.
I think that's what I want.
Yeah, and that's fine to want that. And it's also fine to want prestige TV from Star Trek. And I think that given the streaming platform and how they're going to have like 5 Star Trek shows, I wonder where this fits in. Because Section 31, what is that going to be? Plot structure wise. You know, we've already said what Lower Decks is, which is Monster of the Week cartoon type stuff, comedy. You're gonna have Problem of the Week, Strange New Worlds. So Discovery and Section 31 are gonna have to chart a clear course going forward when all these other shows are out there to not start to flounder.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good idea to keep this a narrative structure, but let's maybe lower the stakes from universal destruction all the time.
Yeah.
And start the idea like you had, which is I think it's good to have this plot through line that maybe TNG doesn't even come close to, which is, you know, maybe season 3 is like, we think Lorca's alive in another timeline, and each episode we're going to work on getting him back a little bit, you know, as we...
I know you like, Andrew, I know you like Jason Isaacs, okay, but they threw him into a star. He's gone.
That's the bad one. The good one could still be out there, and they need a captain for this ship, is what I'm saying, you know? I don't know if I could handle Captain Saru in season 3. Because that's where we're headed here.
Okay. You're right, man.
But like, cool. Investigate pulsars and stuff, and
let's
and work on
I think
another plot or something. I don't know.
I think that I think it was interesting. The beginning of this season was interesting because they were investigating these anomalies, going to these places, trying to see what would happen. Right. It's just that we have now hit the denouement or whatever, where like we hit the downhill slope of the. We had all the rising action, and now it's time for the steep hill to conclusion as fast as possible.
But the thing is, they didn't solve the mystery.
Yeah.
Right?
And like they haven't. And maybe they're going to here in the next couple episodes. Or they better, because we only got 3 left.
But the 7 signals are not related to the mom being in the Red Angel suit. So now there's another mystery. But like, really, the mystery of the whole time was like, the main structure of what you wanted from this maybe was, we do the thing where we use the name Discovery to go investigate all these weird things that happen at the 7 signals.
Mm-hmm.
right? That episode where they go to that planet, it's related to the main structure. It's related to the overarching narrative of this season of what are these signals, what's happening to Spock. But there's this huge mystery of like, what is this planet of humans out here in the middle of nowhere? How did they get here? Why do they not have power? Who brought, like,
Yeah.
that 7 episodes of that, right? You start off with episode 1, Spock is a problem. You go through 7 episodes of that where they're also tracking Spock at the same time. Maybe they find him somewhere in the middle. And then episode 8, 9, 10, or even less than that to resolve an actual mystery
Yeah.
is a whole different thing than now we're fighting AI. We have literally like Terminator 2 here. Like we got to destroy Skynet and like fight.
I think
the rest of this time.
their problem here is that their overarching plots are the end of the universe every time, right? Picard had this problem too, actually.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can have an overarching plot. It can hold a season together and be interesting without having it be the end of the universe. Just because Game of Thrones did it doesn't mean you have to, okay? It's like the end of the world is a plot. You can definitely have that, right? Walking Dead has shown the end of the world can be a show for 15 seasons or whatever. But you don't need every show to be about the end of the world. And, you know, and like I think as we're talking it through here, we liked it better when it wasn't.
Yeah.
When it wasn't obvious that the solution to this was the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
And it got worse as you know, as it is trying to make that transition from cool, interesting mystery to, oh, we got to save the universe. I don't know, man. I feel like we're just talking in circles here. We're going to watch these last 3 and I'm interested to see what happens. I want to know the resolution. What were the 7 signals about? Because the mom said she didn't do it.
And
so obviously
like
something's up,
right? Like,
yeah.
What? Maybe the AI did it, but like if there's more signals at this point, because there were 7 and they've only done 4.
Yeah. There are 3 signals and 3 episodes, Andrew.
Yeah. And we've gone through, wait, hold on. We've gone through 11 now? 12?
11 was the last one we watched.
Okay, so we've done 11 episodes with 7 signals and only gotten to 3 of them. What?
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity.
Yeah, make the whole thing about a cool science mystery thing, you know, and find out that the angel was the one causing all these problems.
Discovery is about a science mystery? That's too much to hope for, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, we're unnecessarily bagging on something that I'm still enjoying.
Yeah, it's true. And you know, like I said, you know, my favorite thing happened was the Georgiou Tyler alliance because it was fun, and I like Georgiou as her character is developing further here. So you know, I'm curious to see where it'll go. Is Tyler going to betray her and risk being killed slowly?
I think he's already in trouble.
Yeah.
Got stabbed in the guts.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he got stabbed pretty good. I forgot about that. That's bad for him.
All right. Well, if you want to stab us in the guts with your ideas about why we are getting, this discovery thing wrong.
Yeah, you can hit us. We're podcast at weweregamers.com. You can send us emails about this subspace transmission, and we will happily read them and maybe talk about them next time if they're interesting.
Hit us with words, though, not with actual.
Yeah, please don't hit us with actual shards of glass. It looks very painful. I'd prefer not to do that.
You did a good job. That looked very, very painful.
It looked bad.
Yeah.
It looked bad.
All right. Well, next time will be episodes 12, 13, and 14, and we'll know all the mysteries. And
that'll be the end of season 2. And I hear, Andrew, season 3 has a start date, and it is not that far away.
Okay. So exciting.
All of you out there, I believe it's in mid-October. So
great.
Get ready. Yeah, and I'm going to watch that Lower Decks, and maybe we'll talk about that next time too, if it's good.
Yeah.
Are they doing it weekly? Is that the thing?
It's a weekly, yeah.
Okay. So I got a little bit. I can catch up.
Yeah. They also are doing a t-shirt club.
What?
So if you watch Lower Decks and you like it, each episode they're doing. I guess the company that does Lower Decks, Titmouse, has done this before for their other shows. Every week they release a custom shirt for that episode. So this week is
Huh.
like a sports apparel like property of USS Cerritos shirt.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. The By the
Okay.
way, the first episode is called Second Contact.
I like it. Just a good name.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's they do they have an idea of what they are pretty quickly.
Mhm. Okay. Well, like I said, I'm gonna check it out eventually. So we'll maybe talk about it a little bit next time. So
Okay, cool. Until next time.
until next time. Yeah. Here's hoping, man.
Give me a level.
Hello. This is me talking in like a kind of normal tone of voice, but sometimes I get a little louder. Just saying.
Okay, cool. You're still in the yellow there. I've officially done it, my man. The paperwork is complete. We will see if they lemon law our car.
Okay. Wait. What?
Did I not tell you it was on its 6th oil leak?
Yeah, you told me it's like the oil pan thing. It like won't stay, and then
Yeah, some sort of silicone caulking they use to put the oil pan on instead of a gasket. It just keeps leaking. So I officially did the paperwork to try and use the lemon law.
and so obviously 6 is like too many.
Yeah, more than
Y-
4.
Yours can't be the only one with this problem though. Like, is every car from this model year?
My guess is this engine from this model year. I have seen a lot of people on forums saying that they have leaks.
Okay. Is this the like upgraded engine or something?
This is the 6-cylinder supercharged turbo. Yeah, turbocharged 6-cylinder that is brand new for that model year,
Okay.
which is of
There we
course
go.
a big mistake to buy, right? Like
That was the thing. Yeah. It's like
what
this is the one that's brand new for this model year. There's the problem,
you
right?
just got such a good deal on it. My eyes got
Oh, look,
bigger
man.
than my brain.
Man. Can't can't tell you, man.
I know. But it is what it is when it happens. It's just I think that the thing is they probably didn't sell super a lot of them in the grand scheme of the amount of cars they sell. So
Yeah, it's tough, man. Uh, as a person who also looks to buy a car, maybe sometime in the next, I don't know, year or two here. My current one has like over 100K miles, and I would rather not pay like $5,000 to service the transmission. Um,
yeah, I would not want that either. Is that really a number?
no, I haven't got it quoted, but the last repair I did to it was very expensive.
Oof.
So,
Someone will buy that car though.
oh yeah, I'm not worried. Like the debates I'm having are like, how much do I want to spend cleaning it up to try and sell it on like, do I want to try and sell it on like an auction website to try and get like more money, or do I just want to like sell it to someone around here, just get rid of it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a popular car in that it is like enthusiast friendly. The engine is good, and I've taken like decent care of it. And like, if someone wanted to like strip it out and make a race car, they could do a pretty good job of it.
I was
Like,
gonna
it
say
would be,
someone will buy that and track it. Very guaranteed.
yeah, because like the transmission is in like not bad shape. The engine and the clutch are like um, you know, well done and all that stuff. So I would be surprised if someone didn't want to buy it for that. But like, do I want to try and sell it to like someone far away to get like an
You
extra
know,
$1,000 or not?
if they're looking for it, which a lot of people probably are, they'll come to you. My
Yeah.
my dad had a dude fly out from Arizona to buy his Suburban because it was a specific model with a specific engine, right? Like if it's something that's out there that's in demand, which I think that car is, uh, you probably would get bites no matter what you do.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Cool.
It's,
Ongoing look for what you want next.
yeah, I have ideas of cars I want next, but I don't want to go to dealers to drive them and see. So I don't really know what to do about that.
Rent them?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you rent cars from like new cars?
No, I just was like, if it's a model that may be like 2 or 3 years old, you could get,
Yeah.
and then you'd assume it might be a little better because it's newer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe I
I
could
think
try
you run the
renting.
same risk going to a rental shop anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I'm just kind of like all of this would have been fine in a world where like this COVID shit didn't happen,
Yeah.
but because we are like I don't know what the hell to do. So
Yeah.
whatever. It's like all my plans are kind of just like on permanent pause.
Oh, same
And then,
here. Yeah. Like we're doing the house refi, and that's all paperwork that,
mhm.
I think at the end of it, we'll have to have a notary come by, maybe.